What's going on, everybody? Murk back here with some more Draft League action, and no, we are not joining a new league. This is a replacement game or a fill-in game for King Bub in the TBU or the Battle Union. So we're not joining the Battle Union. We're just filling in a game because Bub was going on spring break and he could not find a time to schedule a match with his opponent Alex or Onesie Bayonet. So this guy, he's really cool. I really enjoy his content. I watched a bunch of it over the summer and then been a little busy and then life. But he makes really great content, so make sure to go check him out. And we get to have fun with a team that has a Magirna on it. So that's really cool. The way the TBU system works is that you get 12 mons, but you can only access 9 of them at a time because they have a bench system. So I don't even remember what's on the bench. It doesn't matter that much, but anyways, the 9 mons that I have available from Bub's team are Magirna, Toxapex, Latios, Donphan, Thundy T, Miltank, Mega Absol, Pelipper, and Hitmonlee. And Alex's 9 that he can use are Mega Alakazam, Tapu Lele, Dugtrio, Weavile, Porygon 2, Dragonite, Lantern, Cobalion, and Flareon. So we get to use a Magirna, and I think this is part of the steps to recovery. So we first get 6-0'd by one, and then we beat a Magirna, and now we get to use the Magirna. So if you look at Alex's team, he has one thing that can deal with the Magirna at all, and that's Flareon. Yeah, he's got the Dugtrio to trap it, but with the set I'm bringing, Dugtrio does not check it as long as hazards are up, and like his only check to this thing is Flareon. His only switch into it is Flareon. That's insane. He's basically forced to bring a Flareon to a Draft League game because Magirna's there, because Magirna's ridiculously good. Anyways, Magirna has a fantastic matchup, and his only way to get rid of hazards are his Dragonite with Defog, which I didn't think was very likely because, D-Knight wants to have multi-scale, which you can't have with Defog. If it got Defog and multi-scale, then it'd be a really good defensive mon. Dang. But yeah, so that's really interesting. Some other things to note on his team: Toxapex, like, he's got the Psychic Spam core, which is very scary. He has a lot of really good offense, but his problem is he has no defense, and it's a very fast team. So you know how you deal with fast teams when you have a Magirna. I learned from experience, so let's check out the team that we ended up bringing to deal with his. And you already know the set that we ended up bringing. These EVs got messed up. The EVs on this thing got messed up. That's too bad. Yeah. So this Magirna set was something like, it was something like this. Max HP, a fair bit of special attack with the Quiet Nature, and then some Spadef so that I could take 2 psychic moves from Tapu Lele or Mega Alakazam. Anyways, it's Trick Room, Calm Mind with Soul Heart, of course, lefties, and then Dazzling Gleam, HP Ground. And I know firsthand how devastating this set can be, and versus Alex's team, this thing absolutely just runs him over. Like, it is so unbelievably good against his team because Porygon 2 is setup fodder. His Psychic Core are setup fodder. He has a lot of setup fodder. He can't kill this thing in one hit with anything aside from Flareon, and it's so good. And if I can get rid of the Flareon, maybe knock off the Porygon 2's item, maybe get a little chip damage on some stuff, like get Stealth Rocks up to break Dragonite's multi-scale, then this thing just sets up Trick Room, maybe a Calm Mind, and then the game just ends. So that's how good it is. And then to support that, so this is what the team was built around. Then we have a bunch of supporting crew members. First thing, of course, is Cone of Shame. I like this nickname. The Toxapex, Pyapa Berry with Regenerator, T-Spikes, Haze, Recover, Scald, Mixed Defensive. So this Spadef investment lets me take a Specs Psychic from Tapu Lele with a Pyapa Berry, so I can get up T-Spikes, because if he doesn't bring Defog Dragonite, I get T-Spikes up, and that really pressures his team, especially with how Magirna functions, because if a Mon dies to Poison while Magirna's on the field, it still gets the Soul Heart boost, which is like, that's really dumb. Magirna's broken. Anyways, next we've got so it's just there for it's mainly here for T-Spikes. It doesn't have a good matchup aside from that. Like, it can wall stuff like Cobalion, and I have Haze to keep the Dragonite in check, but it's mainly just here to set the T-Spikes. So I'm probably just going to lead with it turn 1 and just try and get them up. Next, we've got a Miltank. This is a cool set. Rocky Helmet, Thick Fat, with Stealth Rock, Milk Drink, Return, and EQ. I have max HP, 92 speed, which is enough to outrun an Adamant Dragonite, because I really didn't see any reason for him to be running Jolly. Then 100 defense, which will let me take 2 knockoffs from Weavile after rocks, which is really good, so I can get as much chip damage off on the Weavile as I can. And then I have 64 in attack with the Adamant Nature, because he really doesn't have a lot that appreciates normal plus ground coverage. And I thought this would be a good way to help keep some of his mons in check. Maybe snag a surprise kill on something like a Dragonite that's weakened, that's assuming it's faster. So I thought this was kind of a cool set. A little arbitrary, but, you know, Miltank's cool. And the rocks are nice, and then Return could be good if I can weaken his Porygon 2 and his Cobalion. Next, we've got Latios. I'm bringing Choice Scarf because I needed more speed control on this team because he has Mega Alakazam and possible, like, Scarf Lele. So I decided to bring Scarf 3 attacks. So I've got Draco Meteor, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Memento. I'm rocking Modest with max with a bunch of Spadef and enough speed for, I believe this is for a Modest Scarf Tapu Lele, because there wasn't any reason for him to run Timid Scarf. So if I got that wrong, then oh well. But Memento is really good to help facilitate Magearna going, and this is just good late game cleaner, revenge killer sort of thing. I did kind of want to have Trick on here, but I'm bringing 2 knockoff mons, as you'll see, so I didn't really think tricking the Porygon 2 would be too necessary. And Porygon 2 is complete setup fodder for Magearna. It can do absolutely nothing to it, so that's good. Next we got Trash, because Donphan sucks, but I've got Assault Vest Donphan with Sturdy, Rapid Spin knockoff EQ Play Rough with max HP, 140 attack, Adamant Nature, and 108 in Spadef. The Spadef is there so that I can take, I believe, a Scarfed Psychic after rocks from Lele. I don't think I can take a Spec Psychic at all because Lele's really, really strong, but I can take a Scarf one, and Specs doesn't make a ton of sense versus my team. I don't think him bringing Choice is a good idea, because if he brings a Choice Lele, and if he locks himself into like Moonblast, then I just come in with my Magearna and set up. So that would be kind of a mistake on his part, I think, but this thing's nice. It's mainly here to get some chip damage, keep rocks off the field for me, and hopefully I can get rid of items. The one I really want to get rid of is P2's Violite, because this is his only switch into Donphan, really, is his Porygon 2, so he's forced to lose his item if he brings it in. So that would be really, really good for me. Aside from that, there's not really a whole bunch else this thing is here for. I'd Play Rough so that I could hit the Dragonite hard. I could have ran Stone Edge, but I felt like Play Rough would be better because you can't roost it off, and also it's less likely to miss, so I guess it also hits Sneeze or Weavile a little harder than a Play Rough, or than an EQ. I can talk. And is there anything else I'm missing? No, that's about right. Yeah. It can check the Doug Trio, I guess. Like Doug, I wasn't too scared of Doug Trio, honestly. And lastly, we've got Mega Absol with Feel My Edge, because, you know, it's edgy. I've got Knockoff Sub, Baton Pass Superpower, little HP, max attack, and enough speed to outrun Cobalion. Yeah. So this set is here to another thing that can help facilitate my Magearna sweeping, because I do have Sub Pass. I don't think that passing a sub is that necessary. But what this thing is good for is putting some offensive pressure on his team. I know that Psychic Terrain's here, and I'm pretty sure he's going to bring a Psychic Spam Core, so there's no point of me bringing Sucker Punch, really. But Knockoff hits his team really hard, along with Superpower. This lets me check the Cobalion and those guys, because Cobalion's pretty spooky. And another thing is, if he does bring... the main reason I brought this was to dissuade him from spamming Psychic with a Tapu Lele, especially if he's choiced, because if he's Scarfed and he knocks me out with a Moonblast, then I just get a free switch into my Magearna, and it's happy days because I set up forever. So this will hopefully dissuade him from spamming his Psychic stabs, which would be otherwise really threatening to my team, because it does a huge chunk to Magearna since I'm not Assault Vest. But So that's basically the idea behind that. It's also a nice way to put some offensive pressure on his team and that sort of thing. Anyways, that's 10 minutes of Team Builder, so let's get into this battle. Okay, so here's the matchup versus Alex. He ended up bringing Cobalion, Tapu Lele, Mega Alakazam, Porygon 2, Weavile, and Dragonite. So this is more or less what I expected. However, he did not bring the Flareon, so unless he has some really, really good counter strategies to Magearna, once I get Magearna going, it's not going to stop. So that's really, really crazy for me. I was surprised that he didn't bring Flareon. Like, I talked to him after the match, and he said that he was expecting, like, Specs Magearna, which could just 2-hit KO a Flareon, but I don't agree with it either way. Anyways, looking at it, I really want to get my T-Spikes up right away because he has a lot of Mons that are weak to T-Spikes. So let's just go into it. I'm really not afraid of anything he can do to me because I have Magearna. Latios looks decent late game, but it's really just about trying to get Magearna going. So I'm going to lead off with my Toxapex, as he's going to lead off with his Cobalion. I thought this could have been an anti-lead set with like Taunt, so I did consider just clicking Scald turn 1. However, in case he didn't bring it, I just wanted to get my T-Spikes up. He goes for the Focus Blast, which I find interesting. It's going to get the Spadef drop, which is kind of annoying because it weakens me a lot, and he also shows that he's Life Orb Cobalion. So now I see he's special, I'm thinking this could be setup fodder for Magearna, which is really good. So he's gonna go for the Volt Switch. I kind of expected it, but in case he was like a Calm Mindset, I went for the did I go for the Haze right here? Yeah, I went for the Haze to get rid of my status drop. Probably going for Recover was my better play, as he's going to go out into his Dragonite right here. So yeah, I go for the Haze, and what I'm going to do here is go for the Scald, maybe snag a Burn, and all I want to do is really just break his multi-scale, but he does show that he has Defog, so that's great prep on Alex's part. And I don't play this early game well at all because I'm going to go for the Scald. I'm not going to get a Burn, and thinking after I see lefties on this thing, so I think, okay, he's defensive Dragonite without any proof, so I'm just gonna stay in, and he's gonna go for the EQ and show that no, he's actually max attack, and he kills my Toxapex. So I really messed up there. That was a huge misplay, as I'm not gonna be able to get Toxic Spikes up, which is annoying because it would have been really good against his team. But knowing that he's not multi-skill is actually good for me in some ways, because it means I can OHKO this thing with a +1 Dazzling Gleam with Magearna. Also, Donphan can come in here and pressure his team. He's going to go for the Dragon Claw right here. I can take this nicely. It does less than half, and I can fire off the Play Rough, which is going to do a solid chunk of damage against him. That does an absolute ton, showing that he is not defensive at all, which I thought he might be. Anyways, there's no way he's going to stay in right here, but I'm not going to make a prediction right now. He could have potentially clicked Play Rough, trying to catch me over predicting, as he is going to go into his Porygon 2. Now, because of my Assault Vest, I know I can take an Ice Beam, so after this Play Rough, I'm just going to go right for the knockoff, and I'm not afraid of Cobalion coming in and getting a justified boost, because he did show that he was more of a special set. Ice Beam's going to come out. As long as I don't freeze, that I'm going to be in a fantastic position, as I am just going to be able to go for the knockoff and get rid of his Eviolite. So that's fantastic for me. And now I'm going to pull a switch out into my Miltank because I want Rocks up, because at this point I can outspeed his Dragonite and knock him out with a return and prevent him from defogging. He is going to make the play of going for the Discharge though, and you know what Discharge can do? One, it can get a critical hit, and two, it can paralyze you. So that's really annoying for me, because now I have to deal with this thing. I'm going to click Rocks right here and try and get them up. Or maybe I clicked Return, I forget. But I get paralyzed, and that's really annoying for me. And here, I believe, he gets a free Roost off. So this is really bad, because what I could have done if I didn't get parried was I could have gone for the Rocks, and then I could have just killed this thing with a Return. So that really sucks for me, because Rocks would have been very, very helpful to have. As I get paralyzed again. Yay. So yeah, crit, para, full para, into another full para. Definitely showing that, definitely being a problem. She's going to go for the Dragon Claw right here, as I believe I'm going to go for the Milk Drink right here. It does a lot of damage, and I get parried again for the third straight time. So now I have to go for the Milk Drink and hope that I possibly live, but at this point I'm just going to sack off my Miltank. Triple Paralysis really doing me dirty, but he is going to go for the Earthquake actually, which is kind of a mistake because my Miltank lives that on 2 and I can Milk Drink up. So him going for the, I guess he was trying to maybe catch a Magearna switch, but which would have been fair, but Milk Drink was my play. So now I'm just going to try and spam Recover or Milk Drink and hopefully try and get a get my thing healthy, because I do kind of need it for Weavile, since I don't, God damn it, I don't want to really lose my lefties on Magearna. So I'm going to Milk Drink once again, as he's going to keep on spamming that Eel Dragon Claw. It's doing a lot, but Miltank's still pretty defensive, even though I'm not impish or anything. So this is very annoying. I'm in a very bad spot because I can't really do what Miltank can't do what it was supposed to do because I got paralyzed, and now he's gonna decide to pull the switch into Cobalion. I felt like he'd do it at some point, and I wanted to click Earthquake, but I felt like just Milk Drinking up in case he just kept on spamming Dragon Claw was my play. And now this thing's here, and that's not great for me. I don't have a good switch into it, so I believe I'm just going to sack off my Donphan. And basically the idea behind this play was to prevent him from Volt Switching and getting a lot of momentum, but he does show that he has Close Combat as well, so he's a mixed Cobalion with Close Combat and Focus Blast. So because he went for the Close Combat, he is actually in range of a superpower from my Mega Absol. So in order to catch a lot of momentum, potentially, I'm going to go into my Absol. I'm screaming that I have like Focus or Fire Blast or Superpower so I can kill him, and I'm just going to Mega up and go for the Substitute, but he stays in, so he obviously doesn't want me to, he's either calling my bluff or he just does not want me to set up, which is a fair play, as I do go for the Substitute, and he is going to click Close Combat and break that sub. So if he switched out, then I would have had I would have been in a very good spot, because Absol behind of sub would have been great to be able to pass it into Magearna potentially, but after this I see that he's not messing around, so I believe now I'm going to click Superpower and just get rid of his Cobalion, or maybe I go for, no, I don't double sub, so now I'm going to go for the Superpower and just take out the Cobalion, which is fine. And this is an important play because as you're going to see in a second, he's going to go out into his Tapu Lele, and the only way he outspeeds me is if he's Choice Scarfed, and if he's Choice Scarfed, he has to go for Focus Blast or Moon Blast, and either of those means that Magearna gets to come in. So this is a great spot for me. Even though I'm down, he does reveal that he is Choice Scarfed, and he goes for the Moon Blast and takes out my Absol, but this is fantastic for me. So even though I'm down 5-3, I'm in the exact position that I wanted to be in. Porygon 2's item is gone, Dragonite is not multi-scale, so it doesn't really matter, and all I need to do here is click Calm Mind, and this is basically going to be the game, believe it or not. Because I go for the Calm Mind, this is max attack Dragonite, but Magearna is max HP, so unless he gets like an absolute max roll on a crit, I don't think he can knock me out, and even then, I don't believe a max roll EQ crit could knock me out. So now I go for the Calm Mind, and I can just click Trick Room here. As long as he doesn't miraculously kill me and ruin my fun, I believe I just win the game. So EQ does not do enough to me. And now I go for Trick Room, and at this point I'm like, yeah, that's game, because now I have 4 turns of Trick Room, and he has nothing on his team that takes a hit at this point. So I get 4 kills with Magearna here, and depending on how he plays it, I might just get all 5 kills. So that's really crazy. He's going to leave his Dragonite in, which I think he should have saved it, because it's the only thing that could kill Magearna. So Dragonite goes down as I go for the Dazzling Gleam, and I get my Soul Heart, so I'm at +2. And do you remember what happened to me? Well, that's basically what is happening to Alex right now, because Magearna gets a kill, he goes into Porygon 2, I got rid of the Violite though, so a +2 Dazzling Gleam is going to be able to knock out this P2, and it was his only hope to potentially stall me out if he somehow lived, but Dazzling Gleam is going to come out, it's going to kill the P2, and at this point, nothing on his team can take a hit, nothing on his team can kill me, and Magearna is just going to be able to win the game at this point, which is absolutely insane, showing you that Magearna is ridiculous. The Psychic Terrain goes away, it doesn't matter at all. He's going to go into Weavile, and unless it's Sash, and he goes for like knockoff plus Ice Shard or something, get chip damage. He can't do anything, but he's just going to go for the Ice Shard because he's a Life Orb Weavile. That doesn't do anything, and 2 turns of lefties are going to negate it pretty much. So Dazzling Gleam comes out, kills the Weavile, and all he has left is Alakazam and Tapu Lele, which I can weaken one of them, and even if somehow Magearna dies, I have Scarf Latios in the back, which can clean up. So, yeah, Magearna is a very fair Pokemon when used in the right setting. A lot of people argue that it's not broken, but I think this is one of those cases that shows it's broken. Yeah, it can't do this every single week, but when it does this, you go into a game, you get hacked badly, you're down 5-3 and should not be able to win, and then after 2 turns of setup, and then just 1 free turn of setup, and you win, that's pretty crazy. That's really insane. Granted, Alex didn't bring the Flareon, so that would have definitely helped him out in the matchup versus thing, but I did have HP Ground, and I could have chipped it down with my team. But yeah, this just shows you Magearna is pretty insane. He goes for the Focus Blast and miss. He didn't even Mega, but Focus Blast would not have killed me because I'm a +1 Spadef Magearna. And yeah, that's the game. So, pulling victory from the jaws of defeat because Magearna is a good Pokemon. I'm going to earn Bub a nice 3-0 victory for him. So, good job, me, I guess, and you're welcome, Bub, for using Magearna and how it should be used. I don't know what to say about this because, like, I didn't outplay, I didn't play fantastic, I got hacked, but my plan and my Magearna set just won it for me all on its own, so that's going to be that game. It was a crazy one. This was definitely a really interesting game. Had I not gotten hacked, I would have most likely just won really big with Magearna, but I didn't, so it's fine. I got him the win, and that's what I care about, so I'm still undefeated when I take over for when I fill in for people, so that's cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a pretty fun battle, kind of. Magearna's broken, ban this thing. #use the ban hammer part 2.